What's up, guys? This is Stevan, world champion. This is my father and my life coach, Steve Micic. We're here today to go over some of our favorite legendary wrestlers who inspired both of us in the sport of wrestling to develop my wrestling career and kind of the things that I got into early on that I still watch today and that we still break down and study. So who's our first one?
When I first got involved in the sport after Stevan saying that he wanted to be the best wrestler in the world and really didn't let up on that, you know, I knew he was serious about it. So I decided to become a student of the sport. Besides going and watching all the practices, I got on YouTube a lot and started breaking down and finding out who those guys are that were the best in the world. If you want to be the best in the world, I had to go and study the best in the world. And one guy that stood out to me among all the wrestlers who have ever wrestled was John Smith. He was maybe one of the first guys that really caught my eye to a guy that made things look really easy, right, Stevan?
Very.
6-time world and Olympic champion, 4 world championships and 2 Olympic gold medals, right?
All in a row.
All in a row. He revolutionized the sport of wrestling. Guys used to be up in the cage stands up here. They had to get down and load.
Yeah, he definitely made defense evolve in wrestling, people getting their head into down block and protect because he was so dynamic with his offense.
What did we get from John Smith? I spent literally hundreds and thousands of hours studying a few guys, and John was one of them. And one of the things that John was able to do is, number one, get to the leg. But he did it in a couple different ways. He can wrestle from what dimensions did he wrestle?
He was able to score from inside positioning, from the touch, and also from space, which made him awesome to watch. It was super exciting, especially someone who's a lot younger and wasn't even starting wrestling by the time he was finished. I wasn't even born when he retired, so that was always exciting to watch and watch how quick he was. But you know, he was able to come inside and use his elbow controls, which probably is the main thing that we were able to take from my offense. And people, you know, see me like, oh, Stevan Micic is known for elbow controls. Well, we got it from watching John Smith.
We stole it, John. Thank you.
So the one thing that I would say that we've kind of had to work on, though, and the things we're watching now from John Smith is how he was able to pull the trigger quick from these elbow controls, you know, where he's able to grab and take off and fire quick to his high crotch side. And something when we wrestled, we used to hang on the elbows all the time. And when I started getting into college more, it got a lot more difficult to attack the legs. If I held the elbows tighter, you know, guys are gonna squeeze down and hold. But learning how dynamic and, you know, he was able to move the guy, keep the space, and then when guys wanted to grab him, he could take the shot and pull the trigger. So that's the first thing we learned. What else is John Smith really, really good at that I haven't been able to take probably?
Well, I think John might be the best finisher of shots once he got to the leg that's ever lived.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody that finished at the high percentage that John did. I mean, John got to a leg, John finished the shot. He spent hours and hours learning how to get in these positions where guys would drape over the top. If he took a low single, get in his crotch. And he spent hours and hours mastering finishing. So when he got to the leg,
he was finishing it. And that's something I feel like I've gotten really, really good at over the years. It's something why, you know, I've been so successful because of my finishing and, you know, converting my shots into actual takedowns from the finish. And the third thing is one that people don't talk about much.
They don't talk about it at all with John Smith, probably. You think of low single, you think of elbow control, high crotch, that beautiful shot he took.
Some people think about the crackdown finish or the leg lace he was really good with.
Yeah, all those things in his finishing. But people didn't realize, and it took me probably 3 years of studying him and a couple other wrestlers to realize that I was trying to find out what the common denominator of the greatest wrestlers in the world were. What's the common denominator of a Buvasar Satiev and a John Smith and a Mavlet Petirov or Arsen Fadzayev? You know, what's that common denominator? What I found after 3 years of studying, because I was focused in on the offense, on the finishes, right, Stevan? All of a sudden one day I said, you know what? John Smith is amazing at defending. You get to his leg, first of all, you didn't get to it very often, and when you did, it was hell trying to finish it, right?
Yeah, I think
Talk about that a little.
Yeah, I think his defense wasn't always the most conventional defense, which you look at because he has a longer, lanky body type for the weight class that he wrestled at. Kind of like me, you know, he was like a 134, 136 pound wrestler at the time. That was the weight class. Taller, you know, and you know, it's hard to get your hips and legs back, but he was able to just flow through positions, wrestling through positions, throwing the head on the inside and outside, ankle whizzers both ways, but just being able to wrestle and you know, use his body and be able to
very flexible,
his flexibility to wrestle and not get scored on. I mean, he was amazing to watch, and actually so exciting in some of his biggest matches to go into and get out to win, because he didn't get taken down. It might only be a 1 takedown match or a 2 takedown match, but he won because he didn't give up that takedown.
There's a match with Alexeyev, who was a Russian wrestler who
at the World Cup maybe back in the 80s sometime.
And he had beaten John's brother Leroy Smith, I think, at the Worlds one year, but he was maybe a 2-3 world champ. Watch that match there. This guy gets to John. This guy's an offensive machine also, Alexeyev.
Can go big and throw as well. He was a big upper body guy as well. And
watch that match and watch how good John Smith is at defending this guy from getting thrown, from getting to his leg 2 or 3 times, and then it'll like open your eyes. Wow, this guy's not only an offensive machine, he's not only an offensive like a finisher when he gets to the leg, he can
also defend and keep the match from him getting himself taken down. So those are the 3 things that we were really inspired by when watching John Smith, and still watch to this day. He's a legend of the sport. So
revolutionized the sport of wrestling.
Definitely credit a lot of his early, you know, technique to, you know, watching him and being inspired by him. So that's it for today that we're gonna go over is John Smith, and you know, next week we've got another wrestler to cover who I watched. Cannot wait to go through that. So let's go. Thanks, guys.